Shannon, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much stock are you putting in those 2 home wins over Jokić and the Denver Nuggets?
Like a 3 or 4, because the Golden State Warriors are the better team, and they're doing what they should do, Skip. Because when you look at it, the Nuggets are playing without their second and third best player, which is Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.
Yep.
Their fourth and fifth best player, which is Aaron Gordon and Will Barton, got elevated to their second and third best players. But look at what they've given you in the first 2 games. So now the guys that you're counting on to be your second and third best players, one of them had 7 points. The other had 12 points on 15 shots. So for me, the Warriors are doing the best positive sign that I can think of right now is Steph looks to be healthy. In 23 minutes off the bench, he gave you 32 points? And 34 points, excuse me. And he missed 2 free throws, which was the most shocking thing to me. The guy shot 92%, but he got a teammate that won the free throw shooting title, Jordan Poole, who shot a better free throw percentage than Steph Curry. And I agree with Draymond. The way the guy can shoot the 3 off the dribble, but he can do things like Steph. He can put the ball on the floor and get to the hole better than Steph. He's been phenomenal. Now, he averaged a little 18 points a game, a little over 18 points a game, skipping 30 minutes. He's picked that up in the playoffs. He's averaging basically 30 points a game. So, but for me, Skip, I'm impressed with how well he's playing, but Golden State is doing what I thought they would do. Look, Draymond has done an unbelievable job on Nikola Jokić. He's making him shoot a very low percentage. He's frustrating him. Draymond is a very good defender. He's a very crafty defender. He's not above the rim defender, but he knows all the tricks of the trade. How to get the ball. When you start to bring the ball up, he hits down. He knows how to punch the ball out from behind. So they're doing what I thought they would do. Skip, they got a lineup where they go Steph, Clay, Dre, and Wiggins and Jordan Poole. They don't play it often. You remember that depth lineup?
Yep.
That depth lineup. The depth. This is depth 2.0.
It is.
Because this guy can do that, what Iggy can't do, this guy can let it fly.
Yep.
Jordan Poole can absolutely let it fly. And so now, where Iggy would probably give you 11 or 12, Skip, this kid can go get you 30, 35.
Yep.
And with you got a shooter like Steph, a shooter like Clay, and this kid that can shoot. But everything is predicated on Draymond being able to handle their big. Because, Skip, if you got to bring help for Draymond, now it makes this because they're a very, very small lineup, Skip. So you got to be able to punish this small lineup with offensive rebounding, and your big got to be phenomenal. So I'm not impressed because if they were doing this and they had Murray and they had Porter Jr., Skip, I would say, Skip, this is a 9 or 10. But because they're doing this against basically Jokić by himself, and Will Barton and Aaron Gordon have been no-shows thus far, Skip, I can't give it more than a 3 or 4.
It sounded like you were going toward a 6 or a 7 with all the buildup that you made, and then you pulled it back.
Yeah, Skip. But I'm impressed with Skip, seeing the Warriors and seeing what they're doing. Because, Skip, remember that lull they went through? Because we like, oh, they about to run away with it. And the Suns say they not about to run away with anything. And Grizzlies say, while you're at it, we about to run you down too. This team right here that I'm watching, if they play like this, oh, we're going to have some fireworks in the Western Conference.
Okay, so to your point about the death lineup, obviously over the last 6-8 minutes of the second quarters of games 1 and 2, Golden State's death lineup just blew Denver right off the floor. The game was over at halftime both nights because of the death lineup, which played, I saw the stat last night, I guess it was on TNT.
7 minutes.
I think they played
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
10 minutes maybe together the whole season.
Yes, in 2 games.
Okay. Now, back to your man Jokić. You have campaigned for him to be a back-to-back MVP. It was harder and harder for me to argue with the numbers he was putting up. And it was hard to argue with the fact he was keeping Denver afloat without the second and third best player on the team. Some people had argued before, there were stretches you thought Jamal was even better than Jokić is. So definitely second and third best players not there all year, or for the most part with Michael Porter Jr. So the reason that he won MVP by keeping them afloat at what were they, the 6th seed?
6th seed.
Yeah, well, that's the reason they got no chance against Golden State is because,
exactly.
So Okay, that's why you won regular season MVP. This is why you could get swept by Golden State, is because you don't have your second and third best players. And to your point, then you elevate Gordon and Barton, and they're just not ready for that prime time. They're not ready for the onslaught of the death lineup, and you saw what just happened. But
Skip, I've never been.
Yeah.
Skip, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never been impressed with Aaron Gordon. Yeah, he was well in Orlando.
Yeah, he was.
But now you bring him into a situation where you're counting on him on a nightly basis.
Yep.
Dude gave you 7 points. What the hell am I gonna do with 7 points?
Well, he can win dunk contests. I'll give him that. He's really good in the dunk contest.
Won a couple.
Right? No, LeBron.
Yeah, he should have won a couple dunk contests.
We never seen LeBron in a dunk contest. I don't know why,
my
but,
goodness,
but
here we go.
Here we go.
He busy.
Right.
He busy.
So here's the best stat of the night last night is your man Jokić gets kicked out of the game in the fourth quarter and finishes the game a minus 26 and plus minus. Steph plays a grand total of 23 minutes, and he is a plus minus of plus 32. So 30 plus 32 to minus 26. I'd say that's sort of the story of the game, right?
Yes.
Okay. I take nothing away from Golden State, but on the stock scale of 1 to 10, I will buy a 1 in stock in what I'm seeing because Denver's just no match. It's telling me next to nothing because it's too easy for the death lineup to destroy Jokić or bust because they're basically becoming Jokić or bust. It's almost like Durant last year against Milwaukee. It's either he's going to do it or nobody's going to do it. And last night, Jokić got kicked out because he got frustrated. Okay, now, my biggest problem with Golden State, I'm going to dig back in on this. I'm going to reiterate my stance. Steph Curry needs to show me more as the games get bigger and bigger in the postseason because I'm going to remind everyone of the story that gets thrown across the table at me repeatedly. That is, after Steph and company failed so miserably in games 5, 6, and 7 of the 2016 finals. Go look at Steph's numbers. They were pathetic, that they were egregious, that they were just completely unacceptable for a two-time MVP. And because of his failure in games 4, 5, and 6, 2 of which were at his house, Oracle, Draymond goes crying into the parking lot after they blew the 3-1 lead and lost Game 7 at home. And the whole contingent boards a private plane and flies all the way across country for a 4th of July outing way out on the almost tip of Long Island, out in the Hamptons. And they went there to recruit Kevin Durant because they knew they could not defeat LeBron without KD. And with KD's help, they got over the top, over the hump, and beat LeBron twice as KD rose and shown as the MVP. Well, obviously, Steph has never been the MVP of an NBA Finals because Iggy won it that first time around. So, to me, I've seen Steph come up small too many times in the biggest of games. It was interesting last night. He made a couple early shots, and at one point he's sashaying back up, he's shimmying back up the court, and he's yelling, "I'm effing back." Okay?
Yeah, you heard Steph. You heard Wardell.
Okay, I got you. And as Steve Kerr said, I believe it was after the game, might have been before, but he said, I think it was after. Steve said, he is so humble off the court and so arrogant on the court in a good way. Steve is obviously put it in a very positive vein. Well, he is. You want to talk about showboat hot dog, Steph Curry? Well, he was in full mode last night because he was strutting all over the court, and he backed it up. You know, he scores, as you know, 34 points in 23 minutes. Yeah, that'll work. That was vintage Steph. Okay?
But, Skip, you know he got it going.
Okay.
You know he has it, Skip. When he shoots the ball and turns and runs.
I know.
When he shot that ball and turned it, I said,
I got it.
Good night.
But I need to see it when it gets tougher and tougher and the games get bigger and bigger because he's never quite backed it up in the postseason. I don't care what you say, never quite backed it up. Even against Toronto, he missed way too many big shots. He missed a walk-off shot at home. He wasn't very good in the closeout game at home. I'm sorry, I need to see more before I start buying stock in the Golden State Warriors. But against Denver, okay, be my guest.
But Skip, we talked about this. You see what Kyrie is. Kyrie was becoming this right before our very eyes the last 2 years in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Golden State, I don't care how good Steph shot it, how good Klay shot it. They were never going to beat the Cavaliers again with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving.
I agree.
Knew they had to get an equalizer.
Yep.
Because now, Skip, LeBron and KD will cancel each other out. Steph and Kyrie will cancel each other out. But the Cavaliers didn't have a third option for Klay. So now Klay's going and getting 20. Where are you going to get your 20 from? Draymond's going to be Draymond. Draymond's going to get you 6 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Draymond's going to be Dray. He's going to play outstanding defense.
Okay.
They knew that.
Okay, I got it. But they're going to go as far as Steph Curry takes them. I don't care what you say.
But, Skip, if
Guys,
Jordan Poole is going to keep playing like this.
Denver next. We got to leave this one here. The series moves to Denver next. We'll see if the Nuggets can rebound.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.